welcome to Lilybug's Library, or welcome back. So today you can consider this either a public service announcement or an educational rant or whatever you want to call it, really. But what I wanted to talk about was slang. So we have two grandsons, and as they start to get older, they start to use more slang that they hear at school. And it got me thinking about it. And I realized I needed an education in this. So I went looking, and of course, back in the 80s, I guess, we'll start there. Every generation has slang. So in the 80s, it was like, gag me with a spoon, or, all those sort of things, gnarly, and take a chill pill. And, I mean, anyone who's that age, understands that. In the 90s, it was, as if, or da bomb, or talk to the hand. That was big for a while. In the 2000s, it was things like dog, which I think was started probably by Randy on American Idol. Or something, they would talk about bling or peeps, and some of that's still used, but, that's kind of where it started. So some things, of course, slang comes and it goes, so it just kind of falls out of favor as people get older and they don't want to use the words that their grandparents used. I mean, you don't hear anybody talk about what's something that's really old? The cat's pajamas. Like nobody says that anymore. I mean, you would definitely be dating yourself if you said that. So nowadays, it seems like all the communication has shortened words, which at times drives me a little crazy, but it is, and they've shortened them because people communicate mostly through texting, especially the, millennials or Gen X, or no, Gen Z, and I guess Alpha's old enough to text now. Anyway, there's, but it's all very short. They're trying to reduce their word count, to make things faster, to make it easier on places like X, which used to be Twitter, or on online forums, or, and sometimes it's derived from pop culture like music or movies. So I wanted to go over today some of the common slang that's out there, just so that if you have grandchildren or children who are using some of these, you won't feel so lost. Because now I'm starting to see some of it in books, and I'm starting to hear it on booktubers, that are doing videos if they're, not, if they're younger. So I have a hard time remembering what all the acronyms are, but we'll give it a shot. So the first one that you may have heard is FOMO, fear of missing out. So that one is pretty self-explanatory. You go and you do something because you're afraid you're going to miss out. You stay up and go to the party, or you do whatever because you don't want to miss anything. But then there's the opposite, which is JOMO, which apparently is joy of missing out. So if you're an introvert, and you don't really want to go to those things, then that's the joy of missing out. You spend some time alone. The one that I still keep thinking, having to remind myself what it is goat. So goat is greatest of all time. It doesn't really sound like what goat should be, but anyway, that's what it is, greatest of all time. And then there's NC, which is Netflix and chill. Um, there's OG, which I think stands for original gangster, but now it just kind of stands for the original of anything. Um, Another one that you see fairly often is IMHO, which stands for in my honest opinion. And simple one, G2G, got to go. And then some of the ones that I kind of looked at and thought, okay, like maybe parents should know this. There's a lot of ones about parents. So there's PAW, Paw, which means parents are watching. So watch what you say. There's PITR, parent in the room. Um, PBB, parent behind back, and POMS, parent over my shoulder. So, so watch for those ones. And then keeping parents clueless. So KPC, keeping parents clueless. And PAH, parent at home. I know, how are you going to remember all these, right? But just remember if it starts with a P, question it. I guess that's the best way you could do it. So a few more. There's one that was kind of interesting. It had a little backstory to it. It was QQ, and apparently it means crying. And so it said that it was first meant to quit the game Warcraft, the video game Warcraft, by pressing the hotkey Alt QQ. And so sometimes if a player started whining on these gaming forums, others would offer him to QQ, just leave, right? And so soon it became associated with crying eyes, and people use it in texting and tweeting, apparently. So, QQ. There's POV, which I'm sure many people have heard. That just means your point of view. TBH, to be honest. And some of them, um, they're kind of interesting. Like there's one, it's SSDD, same stuff, different day. So, I mean, there are times that one might come in handy. It's certainly shorter than writing all that out. Um, OMDB, can we guess what that one is? Over my dead body. So, and then this one I kind of like because sometimes people will send you things that it's like you're busy and they send you something that's like a novel. And it's TL and then a semicolon and then DR, and it stands for too long, didn't read. Okay. And then SOML, story of my life. So, and of course, there's a lot of them that are much darker that I'm not going to go into here. It's, feel free to look them up, but, it's just a good idea to know what some of them are, right? And then there's some of the words. So the words have all shortened too, not just to acronyms, but just a short version of the word. So my 10-year-old grandson, everything is sus. So that means suspicious. Or they'll talk about having riz, which is charisma. So we joke about it a lot at home, but it's those are two of them. There is basic, which means someone boring or conforming. There's ate that, which means you pulled it off. So if you ate that test or you ate that move or something, means you pulled it off. There is bussin', which means awesome, apparently. I'm not sure why. Um, there's cake, which means a large bottom. I thought that one was interesting. Means you ate too much cake, I guess. I don't know. There is, and I'm not sure I'm saying this one right, but it looks like chuggy. It's CHEUGY, chuggy. It means someone who's trying too hard or who's out of date, which would be me trying to say these things. There is, cringe. That's another one that I hear from the kids fairly often. Cringe, which means it would cause feelings of embarrassment or awkwardness. It would be cringy, There is delulu, which apparently is delusional. So some of these, they just make me laugh. There's Finsta, which is a fake Instagram account. So I thought that was interesting, one I'd never heard. There is ick. So ick apparently is when you are attracted to someone, but now you're disgusted with them. So ick. Okay. There is, and I've heard this phrase, but I've never seen it as an acronym. It's IYKYK. If you know, you know, which means like an inside joke. Left no crumbs. That was an interesting one. Means you did something perfectly. You left no crumbs. So, I mean, some of them are quite inventive. Whether or not I really want people to be talking like that or whether I want to talk like that, some of them are pretty inventive. So there's your squad. That's your close friend group. I think years ago, I think people would call it their tribe or their posse, or I don't know. I've heard all kinds of things, but now it's the squad. There is swoop, which means to be picked up in a car. So someone swooped in and got you, I guess. There is tea, which took me a while to figure out what on earth people were talking about. But it's gossip. It's interesting news that you share between friends. So they're spilling the tea, right? I'm sure you've heard that. And then there's trap phone, which is a burner phone. So if you get your phone taken away by your parents, you can go out and just get a burner phone, just a cheap phone to get you through. And OK Boomer is one that has been out there a little bit lately. So the definition they gave was calling out an idea that is outdated or resistant to change. I know sometimes when I hear it, because they're talking to people who are baby boomers, it doesn't sound very respectful, but anyway, that's what it is. And this one I thought was a little odd. It's Ohio, and it's supposed to be someone that's weird, bad, or cringe. So sorry to everyone in Ohio. That seems like they're tagging a whole state with that. But anyway, and what else did we have here? Any other interesting ones? This one was interesting. FAM, you would think would stand for family. It actually stands for friends. So I guess friends are your family when you're a teenager. So yeah, there was a lot of really interesting ones, a lot of things that made me kind of laugh and giggle. There's other ones, of course, that, like I said, are much darker about getting drugs or uh, hurting yourself or hurting someone else, and like anything else, it's there's the good kind of side to it, that's just harmless fun, and then there's the other side that's a little darker. But the whole thing was certainly interesting to listen to. So I that's your education for today, and how to listen and know what your grandkids or kids are saying, or how to get, if you get a text message from someone, you may they may have acronyms in it that you have no idea what they're talking about. So that'll give you a little more of an idea of what they're saying. So just a little fun for today, something that I thought was interesting, and never hurts to try to keep up and know what's going on. All right, hope you have fun, friends. Hope you have a good day. Bye bye.